to force a vote on impeachment. A similar effort 2 years ago garnered just 58 votes.
Capitol Hill correspondent Wally Hines reporting. China's economic growth sank to its lowest level in at least 26 years in the quarter ending in June, adding to pressure on Chinese leaders as they fight a tariff war with Washington. The world's second largest economy drew 6.2% over a year ago, down from the previous quarter's 6.4%. That's according to the Chinese government data. More on these stories available at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Stories we've told, stories we've told, at the end of time. Stories we've told, stories we've told, at the end of time. Said someone rise.
Welcome to What's the Story?
Well,
We're having so much fun already. And we just started. How about that? Hi, everybody.
Hi. Wake up.
It's Monday morning. Oh, no, it's Monday afternoon.
I come
Yeah,
here
wake up,
every
Jen.
day and say good morning because it feels like the
It
morning.
does, doesn't it?
It's
That's
awesome.
what I said.
Yeah.
You know, it's like starting the day.
I'm totally with you.
It's awesome. April was here early today.
was.
And she's
I'm-
staying later. How about
What?
that? Go
Really?
figure, yeah.
Hello,
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
So what are we going to
Do
do
the
with
waves.
that segment where we just talk about her?
do the bring in the parade. I don't know.
We'll have to save the segment talking about April to be the very last
Oh,
segment today.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
when I'm gone.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
You'll have 15
Really-
minutes
Yeah.
to
You
gossip
really are
about
going to
me.
need to tune in so you
Yeah.
can hear all the
Well, you know, we
things that are
we did
said.
find that
Yeah, I'm curious.
we can talk a lot about you even when you're here.
I know. Because I'm
just goes
probably
right
not
over your
paying
head.
attention anyway.
Oh, did the show start?
Oh, is that my line? All right, so you're listening to What's the Story, and we are really always enjoy being here and sharing our stories with you, but we also want to know your story. So if you have one, be sure to get in touch with us. You can reach me directly at JaniceHermsen.com. Sorry, I don't even know how I have my website. JaniceHermsen.com, and that's JANICE Hermsen.com. There's a contact form. There's also a place where you can subscribe to What's the Story if you want to know when, what we're going to be doing ahead of time. You can go on there, and there's a place where you can subscribe. So it's pretty cool. Eventually, we'll put that on LRP, What's the Story, but that was the website I got to first. So I'm updating it because I am working on the book that Floyd Sneed and I are putting out, and it is getting ready to launch this year later.
It
We're
is
very
a humdinger.
excited. I know. It's kind of frightening when you have, you're ready to commit. Yes, really,
long
it's going to
time
happen. It's been a long
coming.
time, yes. And there were a couple of times we said, oh, I think we're ready, and
This
it wasn't.
is just the way the
You know,
publishing
yes.
world works. So
It
this
is.
is nothing unusual or we should be afraid of.
And when it's you,
You're chomping at the bit, but
Yes.
hey, I've got advice for this time frame that you're waiting
yes.
for. Start another project.
I already did.
Well,
so good advice.
see, I can't take-
Excellent advice. I'm actually working on another book that I've been working on simultaneously, and it's almost ready to, it's really ready for edit, changing things around.
That's
I
cool.
do, especially nonfiction, you tend to write and then
Yes.
you just sort of throw it out there
Yeah.
and then you rearrange and make it a little more cohesive.
Yes.
So that's the point I am. So,
good.
so I am working on that.
Awesome.
I'm kind of juggling between the two. But there are people we need to contact, and sometimes you can't find
It's
them.
just this
or-
never-ending thing.
It is, but we'll get there, and it will be a good thing, I think. So I'm excited. And our show today is all about storytelling. Hi, Ed. How you
Hey,
doing?
I'm doing great
Got your
today,
big
Jan.
coffee there.
Got the big coffee.
And
I'm ready to go.
Doug brought us some scones.
Yeah, perfect.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
So
Well, we're
ready
going to get
roll.
away from the candy that gives you pimples.
Well, we need some
This'll just
tea
make
to
you-
go with our
yeah.
scones.
That's right.
This just make you fat.
Well, and I also want to mention the fact that the thing that Doug is going to be covering today is related to storytelling, because if people had not told their stories for the 9/11 Victims Fund, it probably never would have come to fruition that they would follow up in the manner that they have finally done. So, and I'm going to let Doug, fill us in on all of this. But when I pick my topics for the show, I kind of try and make it as cohesive as I can with everybody, and storytelling just almost always is. And when you talk about, like I say, the Victims Fund, when we talk about books, it's all about stories. When you talk about Reno Gal Says, she told a story which then prompted Ed to go out and do some investigating.
I hit a hornet's nest on that one.
We got water here from Virginia Lake. So
it was a call to action.
It was a call. You should see. He sent me that picture. He said that was from him.
Yeah, I know.
He
He was Action Jackson.
Yes. Mr.
Investigative
reporter.
This is my first report ever.
You do good.
It's very good. So why don't you start us off? Give us a little background on what we're going to cover in the next segment, because we're going to flow into that one for sure.
Perfect. What a compliment. No, I worked on this literally for probably 2 hours this morning. And one of the things that I came up with, and it was kind of funny, you touched on it about publishing, how you go here, you go there, and, you start, fits and starts. And
Right.
That's the story of Congress and this bill. It is absolutely amazing when I got started into this, delving into it deeply, what a civics lesson, because you learn exactly how Congress works or doesn't work, or the people involved. And then it also spun off into how the press covers what actually was and what their commentary on what they thought was. But the long and the short of it is that, after the attack on 9/11, everybody was saying we will never forget. But you know what? We did. We remembered the event, but the event wasn't an event unless it had a bunch of people involved. And who are the heroes? The first responders. And I don't want to limit. That's kind of an oversimplification, because there were so many people involved with it. The people that came from literally out of nowhere to help, to see what that they could do.
Well, they became first responders.
Well,
in essence,
yeah, exactly.
They did.
They were. Well, the bill is called the First Responders Bill, or it's officially known as the James Zadroga 9/11 Health and Compensation Act. And that's what we've been fighting over for literally the past 3 or 4 months. And you think, with Jon Stewart coming and making his emotional plea, that's what brought it. That is what brought it to light.
Yes, thankfully he did.
Yes.
And we are going to follow up with what occurred with all of that. So we hope that you will stay with us, because, of course, we have to take a break. Right? But if you're on Facebook, we'll still be here. We hope you'll stay with us too. And we'll be right back. You're listening to What's the Story?
Hooty hoo.
Hooty hoo?
Yeah.
I did start a watch party for you guys,
Woodsy
in
owl.
case you wanted to know.
Okay, I will
Give
try and check.
Do you want me to?
I started a watch party.
Oh, did you? Oh, I didn't see it.
I'm so agile now.
I didn't see you do it. Oh, I should get rid of mine and go to yours.
But I did start one. I'm like,
why didn't I see it?
I'm starting to get a clue. Probably did it about the same time.
You think?
Maybe.
Well, all right. Well,
I have
join one of them.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, if you can find it. I obviously didn't see yours,
We
or
are
I would have
just
joined.
watch galore.
So if you're out there, we hope you'll join our watch party. If you, or you guess if they're hearing me, they probably already have, right?
Yeah, please chime
Hopefully.
in though with
yeah,
some
chime
comments.
in with comments. That's right. Yeah, tell us what you're thinking. We're going to talk some more about the Victims Recovery Fund and different things that that Doug discovered in his investigative reporting.
That sounds like serious stuff.
It is.
It is.
Thought I would kind of save our lighthearted for the end. That's why Virginia Lake went to the end.
No, it's all good.
We love Virginia Lake.
Mm-hmm. We do. Just
Well, maybe some of us don't love it as much as others of us.
Wouldn't want to be rolling around on my belly in that grass.
No, well, yeah, and we'll talk about that.
Is there grass?
Is there grass?
There we go, right? That's appropriate.
It was a good thing for her to say, wasn't it?
It is. I have so much
Do
more
you
exciting
go to
news.
Virginia Lake?
I do, but I guess I'm not in the grass area. I don't know.
I wonder why.
Oh, it's on the far side of where I go.
And where do you go? And are you
Okay.
there? Do you walk? Is that why
Yeah,
you're there?
No, I'm there with a free speech kind of thing for...
Easy for you to say.
That grass area has a sign that says goose latrine on it.
It does not.
Well, that's not where I go. So you can find me there. I don't know if it's like the east side of it, if that's... I'm terrible at this, but I'll be on that east part side, I think. There by some houses off
Oh, yeah, it's probably the east side.
Limeberry,
My guess.
Limeberry, Limeberry. I
Yeah,
don't know.
by where the apartments are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I kind of hang out, trying to say hey to people.
Share some free speech.
Exactly. Exactly. But
You're
I
so
do
diplomatic.
I'm just trying to join a watch party here. I don't even know.
You're so funny.
I don't know what's going on.
I saw a guy walking his dog who had plastic gloves and booties on.
The dog or the guy?
The guy. The dog just wished he had them on.
You guys are very funny.
Pretty good cup.
Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you're listening on Facebook, and if you're not or can't, then we thank you for listening from wherever you are. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen. I'm here with my co-host, April Kempler,
Hello.
Ed Noel,
Howdy, hi.
and
What's his
your name
name?
again?
Oh, what's his
Doug
name?
Ashby. And Doug, you're up because we want to hear more
Perfect.
about the victims fund for 9/11 that you did some investigating about.
Sure, I'd love
Because
to. You know what?
Jon Stewart did the whole
Oh,
thing on
yeah,
there, and he
yeah.
really helped the cause a lot.
I think if it wasn't for him, we'd still be stalled. I really
I agree
do. And
with
I have never been a real Jon Stewart fan. But I'll tell you what, his passionate plea really moved this along. You know, I'd like to, you know how I like quotes, and I'm going to say a quote that really kind of fits with this, but I want to see if you guys know who might have said it. And it's, sure, I wave the American flag. Do you know a better flag to wave? Sure, I love my country with all her faults. I'm not ashamed of that. Never have been, never will be. Who do you think said that?
I do not know, I'll be honest. Was it a president?
Nope.
Oh.
No, it was a guy, he was a movie actor, and he died of lung cancer.
Oh,
Steve
I don't-
McQueen.
Oh, that's a good,
Good guess.
John
John
Wayne.
Wayne.
John
I should
Wayne.
have known.
The
Yeah.
dude.
Yes, the
how
dude.
better to start than a quote from John Wayne, huh?
I agree.
I mean, if we have Jon Stewart on one side, we can have John Wayne
Right.
on the other.
And sharing the same values, which is interesting.
Well,
Yeah, they'd be on the same side of that battle.
Yeah.
They would. They
Yeah.
really would. And that's what we neglect, or our media neglects to say, is that there are many things that opposing sides would be on the same side of for certain battles, like this one.
Well, I have a very, very close friend who's 180 degrees opposite of the philosophies that I hold. And whenever we talk about a specific subject, we always agree. I don't know how that works
Isn't that
out.
funny?
But yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. I think that's in what we see in politics. I think if you can sit down and perhaps with this, and you know, you asked a good question this morning about, well, where is this? Is it completely funded? Well, you would think after all of the hoopla and all of the bannering back and forth, it would be, but it's not, and I'll get to that in a second. It's taken 14 years to get the bill to where it is today, and it's had fits and starts. I have to glance down at my notes, and I'm sorry if I'm a little disjointed because there's so many dates and so many things to do. But the official name of the act, like I said, is the James Zadrota 911 Health Compensation Act of 2010. Well, what does that mean? Not much to anybody. It's the Emergency or First Responders Act. And what it did was it covered the people that responded to the terrorist attack in New York on 9/11. And, you know, a big reason why it didn't get through Congress first was because they said, hey, this is a New York deal. This isn't a country deal. All those first responders were New York people. Why should the rest of the country? Well, they finally got over that hurdle. And there in 2006, the bill failed. And it wasn't introduced again until 2010 when President Barack Obama signed it into law, which began in 2011. And basically what the bill did is it divided it into two portions. One, to take care of the 911 responders because there is a very, very high incident rate of them coming down with cancer. And not only did it cover them, what was today, but it also covered them for what was coming, for if they did come down with cancer. The second part of the bill was because these first responders were, a lot of them with cancer are going to be denied a full life.
Sure.
And they're going to be away from their families. So there was a compensation clause for them and their families. Well, there was originally $7 billion that was allotted to the fund. Well, very, very, very shortly, that money ran out. And what had happened was once it ran out, they had to, because they didn't have any money, they started cutting into the pending claims by at least 50%.
So they started reducing.
Exactly, and the family compensation was reduced by 70%. Well, I thought Jon Stewart was a come-lately guy, but he's been involved with this since 2010. I mean, he's been it from almost the inception. And he did on his radio program, or his TV program, he did an entire episode on it about what was going on in Congress. And of course, what everybody saw on his last plea was that he was there, all of the survivors were there, all of the people with cancer were there, and the people that weren't there were, guess who?
Yeah, our representatives.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, but to fast forward, to catapult to where we are today, the House passed on July 12th, and this is what is so frustrating to me because the big news blurb was Congress passes on July 12th the funding for the legislation. You go, woohoo, that's great. Well,
fake news.
Pardon?
Fake news.
Well, it pretty much is because the Senate hasn't approved it yet.
Right.
Right.
So they go over to the Senate. Well, let's go back up just a little bit. When it was in Congress, it passed in the House 402 to 12. I'd like to know who those 12 were.
They're actually listed on that site that I sent you.
Really?
They are. I figured you'd want to know.
Oh, you know what? I didn't see that.
Yeah, you'll have to go back.
Oh,
There's
I
another
will.
tab you'll have to go on to. I can help you get there because I was real curious too to know
Yeah.
who voted for and who. And there were some that I believe that weren't available to vote or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, because there's always somebody sick, out of town,
Right.
whatever.
That'd be my story. But you know, it's interesting.
So it's
but
good that they did pass that piece of it, and now
Well,
it moves to the Senate.
it does move to the Senate.
And O'Connell is
Mitch
saying,
McConnell
yeah,
is
he's saying he's
saying
going to get
that
it on there.
he is going to hold a vote on the legislation. Well, this is where it really, to me, kind of gets entertaining, because you look in all the investigation that I do, and the reason, well, I can't say that because I can't look into his mind, but one of the articles I read said that a lot of these senators have elections coming up,
Right.
and it would be a death knell if they voted against this.
Yep.
Well, whatever happened to right and wrong?
Yeah.
Why are they?
How about
why,
the
yeah,
moral thing to do?
exactly.
Right?
Why is this so self-serving? As
Yeah.
though I want to be reelected, so I better vote for this.
Yeah. Why is that the first thing you
Because
look
that's
at?
the modus operandi.
Well, and the thing is, but the thing is, it can factor in. That's human nature. It's going to factor in. But why is it the first thing they think of instead of the second or third?
Yeah.
You know, that should
Well,
be down the line a little
in the
bit.
Senate, they
When I make
have-
a business decision, trust me, that's not that way it would go.
Yeah.
There are other things that would, you know.
Well, the first thing we do is find a solution, then we go, oh, that doesn't make money, right?
Yeah,
and then
it's true.
we tweak it
It's
around
true.
and go,
No,
how
that
can
is
we?
true. We were talking about that today.
How can we
Yeah.
make it work and make money?
Right.
Well, what's
exactly.
interesting, there is a sunset clause on this.
Oh.
2090. So what's that? 71 years?
Yeah, that's good.
Well, it is,
That's
because not
good.
too many people that were
Yes.
involved are going to be living. So,
and that's good. They
yeah,
did something
you
sensible.
know,
Go figure.
That is. But when you read and when you investigate this, it's infuriating, because depending on where you go, on what slant that you get on what's happening.
As
And
far as
that's-
the reporting goes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
And it
know.
was very hard to find a site that just listed the facts.
Right.
But I have to, I guess,
I have trouble with there being a slant at all on this.
Well, I do
That's
too.
why it was so hard to read, I'm sure, because how can there be a slant?
Yeah.
Why can't you just, for this particular thing, why is it not just reported? Why do you have to bring either side, Republican? Because I saw on one report where they were saying the Republicans were denying blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, 400 and some odd voted. Yeah, there
Yeah.
had to only been a couple of Republicans if there were. And are we sure they were Republicans? You know, I mean, I just
Something
think that
bad
there's...
happened, so it had to be a Republican.
Well,
I mean, that's
just think
the way
that
the
it's
press
just
is.
so slanted.
Well,
so
it was interesting
negative.
because Jon Stewart brought up in his latest talk when it was passed in Congress that the fight, and I would say it probably came from the conservative side, probably the Republican side, that said, we're worried about what this is going to do to the overall budget. And
it's valid, however.
well, but what Jon Stewart says, he says, look to New York and the hot dog eating contest that they had, and the winner ate 73 or 78 hot dogs. And then they said, well, how do you feel? And they said, would you like a Coke? And he says, no, I'm worried about the calories. I mean, he says, that's the analogy to the budget.
Right.
This is what my boss used to call budget dust.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope it passes in the Senate if
Well,
there's
we'll
going to be an
rely
uproar.
on you
Oh,
to
thank you,
let
and I
us
will
know.
follow it, yes.
Keep track of that for us.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm sure that folks out there are probably interested to know as well. And I'm glad it was passed by so many.
Yes.
And I'm sure that those that said no had a reason. I'd sure like it if the media would go out there and just ask them what the reason is. Not attack them, not call them names.
Don't you think?
Ask them why.
Don't you think
They
though,
have to have a reason.
The media is so biased now that
Yeah, on both
the old
sides, too.
no, I agree.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
saying
not just one
I'm not
side.
saying one-sided.
No.
However, as individuals, we have to look at each report and take it on its own merit, just like buyer beware.
Right.
And to me, that's a better state for us to be in than everyone just believing what they're spewing
I think
out.
I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I do.
But what color are our lenses when we read, no matter
That's
what
right.
we read?
That's right.
So,
All right. Well, if I think it's time to take our break here.
What?
So, yeah, so quickly. Thank you so much, Doug.
Oh,
You're
thank you.
listening to What's the Story. We'll be back with the Book Blitz.
Yes.
Woo-hoo. And Reno Gal says.
Wow.
Yay.
It's just moving right along.
It is, huh? It goes fast some
Yeah.
days.
Well,
Lately, a lot.
well, we're focused. We all have things that we're trying to
yeah.
share, and it's good.
It is good. I like it.
well,
I like it a lot.
you know, with everything that I read, and there's so many dates and so many statistics and so many people and so many versions, I said, this will set your head on fire.
Yeah.
How do you
And your hair, if you have
Yeah,
any.
exactly.
It's the ultimate, though, in trying to get people to move. Like, moving Congress people That's amazing.
Well, because I shared some stuff with Doug because I wasn't sure what he had, what he didn't. And when I found this stuff, I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and give it to him. But I started going through it and the process that they were taking, I was getting lost. I was like, wait, what's that amendment for? Hold on. What are they talking about now? What does that have to do with this bill?
Well,
and they had tons of amendments and different things that were going on. And I couldn't tell because I didn't have time to really research, but I couldn't tell if it was just the process of Congress or if it was all related to this bill. And I was so frustrated. And I thought, well, if I'm a congressperson, I'm guessing they're feeling pretty frustrated as well, especially the new people.
Oh.
And I know, they're bashing all these new gals and everything, but it is a lot. It is a lot. Right? And there's a lot to absorb and understand. And again, I know that's their job. That's what we hired them for. But, wow, it's, I've got the leisure of sitting at my computer and not being pressured at that moment. And I'm having trouble figuring it out. And I'm a pretty smart gal. But, I was like,
well, the thing of it, we read all of these articles with the bias also.
Well, this was right from the congressional record that I was reading. I was reading on their website. It was worse. I think I'd rather have somebody's analysis that's biased, right? At least then all I have to do is filter the bias. Wow, it was crazy. It was just crazy. So I can kind of relate to some of the comments that are out there and the folks that are frustrated. Do you guys have books?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't bring a book today.
I do.
Good. Okay.
I'm going to be brief
I wanted
again.
to give you plenty of time.
Is this out now?
I believe it's out, yes.
July 9th, it said.
Yeah, it is out.
Good. That's my book.
I thought you did that the other week. No? Maybe I did. I don't know. That's okay. That's good.
I think I went on with the Orange Bear.
All right, we'll have another book.
No. Share that one.
I might
That's
have
good
done
because
it.
we're going to have her on in the next few weeks or so.
Maybe I did do it. I thought you said she was on today.
She's not going to make it. I couldn't do
Oh,
it.
this
I didn't
is
know
why
if
I
you were going
brought
to be
this.
here.
So I brought this one.
Oh, there
Oh.
it is. Okay.
I'll find another one.
Does work.
No, I didn't know if you were going to be here, and I didn't want to book her without you
Oh,
being here.
I'm so sorry. All right, well, make me be last. Goodness.
Do that one, whatever that one is. Or is that for your thing?
It could go both ways.
We could talk about Virginia Lakewater.
Oh, I do have a book. I do have a book.
Yay!
Because
Sorry,
and I'll give
April.
you time to lamblast me.
Oh, how about that?
It's not a goal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and on Facebook you can't hear the music. So
I know.
they're watching you dance.
I know.
And there's no music.
I missed the music when I was on vacation watching it, and I was like, what up?
Yeah, where's that music? That's
Yeah.
my favorite music.
It is.
We should incorporate that
My
in.
favorite radio music.
Welcome back. You are listening to... Yeah, I guessed. I just guessed. I figured we were back. My engineer's busy, and he pointed at me and yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you
Yep.
mean there's like...
There's actually somebody directing this
I was
show.
going to say things shut off and things start and things like that. Wow.
Yeah, he actually
Wow.
does that, but he's got a busy day today. He's got some extra work that was put upon him, so I'm trying to be very cognizant of what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Right? So is he consistent and committed on working towards that?
He
Right?
is, yes. Just like last week, right? Hey, it's time for the Book Blitz.
Yes.
Our lightning round, sometimes,
Yeah.
of books.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start with Ed today.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay, so you got to guess my book today.
Oh, we have
Oh.
to guess.
Yes.
Oh.
So this
give us a
is
hint.
Riddle Me This Book Boobs. Right?
Did we get a clue? Or was
Yep.
that our
This
clue?
is, by the way, our book count segment.
Or was that our clue?
Here is the first clue. We all know the author.
Well, that didn't narrow
Okay.
it down.
Okay.
I think it
Doug
does.
Ashby.
There are over 2,500 copies in print.
Rolls my book out.
Me too.
Oh, no. That's
Oh,
not true.
really?
I don't think.
It is a
Oh.
periodical.
A periodical.
Yes.
Oh.
Rolls my book out.
Rolls your book out.
It has in it the seven strong reasons why every authorpreneur should be an author.
I thought he was going to say the 7 dwarfs.
Oh. I love it.
Last
I know what it is.
Last clue. It does a great job of using the analysis of a hot dog for the Electoral College.
I don't know. I said Doug Ashby already.
You don't know?
It's What's the Story
What's
Print.
the story in print? It's over 2,500
Yay, it's our
copies.
monthly
It's
period.
a periodical.
You guys, I thought I'd try to sneak that in there. Anyway.
That was well done.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
I appreciate it. Yeah, see, it shows they didn't read it.
so you could do a
come
periodical.
You try to find 6 or 7 items in there that you could pull out of there and use that she wouldn't know. That's what I did. I got 3 in before you knew.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true. Yes.
But I was generic.
as
I
soon
was
as
kind
you-
of thinking it, but I was
Oh.
thinking when he said the hot dog and he was saying hot dogs, and I
Yeah.
just got confused.
Yeah. No, the hot dog, you got to read that article. It's very good.
Okay.
He compares the Electoral College to a hot dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's completely different.
Boy,
Awesome stuff.
It's
Well,
a really good
it
article.
was just funny that Doug used that analogy too.
I know. I thought it was too. That was G.D. Fenderson who wrote that article.
Okay, I'm checking
So,
it out. I
yep.
have it. It's on my nightstand.
Good.
Really interesting
Excellent.
stuff, everybody. You can get this online, too.
Yes.
Good.
At issue.com. Just look for What's the Story.
Excellent.
It's there.
Okay, who's next?
Mr. Doug, you're next.
no,
Lightning round.
We're just
I was
You know
going to
what?
say, where's that Johnny Lightning at?
this is going to be a lightning round. This is going to be
I'm
a book.
looking at his wife now. Is it really?
Do you
Says
practice?
brevity isn't in my vocabulary. No, this is going to be and it has to do with a very, very close friend of mine who, matter of fact, he was the best man at my wedding. He and his wife has stage 4 cancer, and she's been battling it now for over 2 years. And
Well,
I
congrats to her that she's done that well.
well, that's kind of where I'm headed. I recommended probably 4 months ago or whatever, the last lecture by Randy Posh, because he
Very
suffered
good.
from
Yep.
pancreatic
Yep.
cancer. And so I sat down with my friend Roger, and we were talking about it, and his wife. The book, is his journey and the things that he did, the positive things that he did. And most notably, that's why it's called The Last Lecture. And so I recommended it to this friend of mine, and I was telling him all about it. And he and his wife have to make a decision. She went through two years of chemo. At the beginning of this year, they told her, "We need to send you to the City of Hope." Well, that's not a good sign. And they said, one of the choices that you're going to have is to go through another round of chemo or do nothing. But chemo probably won't help you, and you're basically going to have about a year to live. So this book really, and so I sat down with Roger and I told him about this book, and he looked at me and he says, "What happened to him?" And I said, "He died." And I thought, what? I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, he is reading it, he and his wife, and they are enjoying it.
How did he
so-
respond when you said that?
Well, he and I have a good relationship, so
Right.
he did laugh out loud.
Oh.
He says, no, he wasn't. He
No, that's good though.
No, it
because
was,
you might
and-
think that
Oh.
he would be like devastated or something. So that's why I wanted to know how.
Well,
did he respond?
I was the one that was
Right.
devastated. I thought, oh man, how can I be so
Rightfully.
insensitive, But anyway, so I recommend it on a couple fronts. One, it's a good book, and one for my friend. And
The last lecture is awesome.
Yeah,
It's such a good book.
Yeah, it is.
I think Doug's a lot like me on these somber
Yes.
subjects. We laugh our heads off.
Yep.
It's a coping.
It's coping.
Mechanism.
It is a coping
And
mechanism.
Yeah, it's a
it's
nervous
always at the
reaction.
worst
Yeah.
possible time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
what we do as
Right.
Yeah.
humans, right?
Well, like they say, nobody's getting out of it alive.
No, we're not.
That's kind
There
of
you go.
a negative thought to end with.
Well, do you want to go next?
Go read the
Jan?
last lecture. No, you go right ahead.
Okay. Well, mine is sort of a tie-in to. Well, look at Ed's like staring at.
Yeah. he's like a buzzard sitting on a wire,
He
isn't he?
is. Thank you. Thank you for
Can't
noticing.
talk, can't not talk, right? I'm a buzzard sitting there.
No,
on a
that's
page.
the way you were looking. It was different. Okay, my book is The City of Trembling Leaves by Walter
nice.
Van Tilburg Clark. This is a Renoite.
Yes.
And he wrote other books. He wrote, besides this one, well, my notes kind of cut off here, but he...
They just disappeared. I saw them.
Yeah, I don't know.
They
Well,
went
anyhow,
away.
so this book is old. It was written in the 1930s, late 1930s, and it's about Reno, of all things. And it's because we're the city of trembling. I'm going to go off my memory here. We're the city of trembling leaves. The aspens, right? They tremble, tremuloides. That's their botanical name, but that's not in the book. But
She just knows it.
I just know that. And we have lots of those trees here, and they're gorgeous. And so he wrote a story. Apparently, the gist of the story is about a young man who is in love with a young woman. They're both in Reno, and it's all about his love of her and his love of Reno. And it's a big book. Some of the reviewers said I'd review, but I'm still reading the book. And so some think it's very boring. That was one review. And others find it the most amazing book they ever read. And so if you love, it's just across the spectrum. So if you love Reno, want to know more about Reno, it's a bit of fiction set in Reno by
Look it up.
Walter Van Tilburg Clark, The
There
City
you
of
go.
Trembling Leaves.
All right, that's awesome. And I didn't bring a book today because I wanted to leave time for Reno Gal Says, but I think 2 minutes is a little short for you.
Well, no, I can be.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Because we can go
absolutely.
into the next
When does
segment.
Ed want
Let's-
to get me good?
You know what? Let's go into the next segment with this
Okay.
rather than making you cut it because it'll be really, really,
Yeah,
really
I'm just sitting here
close.
poised to leap
I know.
on anything you say.
That was Doug. He noticed it.
So in the next segment, we're going to have April share with us her Reno Gal Says. Have you opened up your website yet again? Your Reno Gal Says blog? Has that started yet?
No.
Not yet. I'm going to keep bugging her every week until she does.
Is she committed and consistent
I
on
don't
Reno
know.
Gal Says?
Yes.
I would,
No, she is. She's committed and consistent.
But it's not. It's like virtual writing.
That's right.
It's a new
She does
thing.
it
Oh,
on
I
the-
can virtual write.
Exactly.
So I just keep bugging you until you
Okay,
do. How's
I like
that?
it. Yeah,
I know you do.
keep wanting to. I prayed to God to help me write last night, so I think it's going to happen.
That's why I'm jabbing you. He told me.
I wrote to God. I wrote to God. A letter. Please, God, let me write again. I don't know what
And
is
he said,
happening.
Jan, yell at her.
I don't know what's happening to me. So then he whispered to Jan, she needs a whip, honey.
So here we are. Who knew this segment would
Exactly.
be this way, right?
My mouth, God's ears, your mouth to my ears again. It's this full
There
circle.
we go. So we're going to do that, and then in the next segment, we're also going to do a little bit about storytelling, and we'll see how it all goes, and we might talk about Virginia Lake. You never know, but I kind
Cool.
of saved that for the next half since you were going
Okay.
to be
Yeah,
here.
sure.
I figured that we would cover that after you do your segment.
Awesome.
So, yeah, we got a lot going on here, and we're just so glad. If any comments on Facebook? I haven't been watching. I apologize for anybody that might.
I thank people for listening.
Oh,
and,
look at Mr. Basil. You're so sweet.
And
He loves me.
What? Look, I'm speechless.
Come on, at least somebody
Come
does.
on out there, help us, help us.
At least Basil says he
No,
does, right?
That's
come on.
awesome. It's really awesome.
All right. Well, we got to go now. We've
What?
taken up all that
Time?
time. We'll be back with Reno Gal Says and some info about storytelling. We'll be right back. You're listening to What's the Story?
Hooty hoo.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't
Nice.
see that. I didn't even know when I said that about comments. I didn't even see
Oh.
that Basil had been on there.
So,
It's funny. Did you want a scone?
April?
so what did you
You're not
think?
hearing me? Can you hear me now? I don't know.
I love that.
Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on because I don't know. I'll ask Craig. I don't know.
What?
You guys hear me? Good?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you? My husband does that to me.
Yeah, hear you
I hate
fine.
that. Where's Craig? Craig, can people hear me? Okay. Mrs. Ashby says no, but
Debbie.
it could be. Go out there. I don't know. Thank you. Well, I will speak. I will try and speak clearly.
Oh, she couldn't hear you?
No, I guess not.
Huh,
I
that's
don't know.
weird.
I hear
Maybe
me.
we overrode you.
I don't know. Yeah. The Peanuts teacher. Is my shirt good here?
It's not getting ripped
Oh,
off.
hold on, it's not off, so it's not good.
I put it up here.
It's only good when it's off.
Oh, you're funny.
So one of the funniest commercials I saw recently for a show was a Family Feud show where, I forget the host. What's that guy's name anyway?
What's his name?
Yeah. So he gets ready and he goes, okay, funniest story heard in a strip club. And the dude's getting ready. He goes, no, just kidding. Just kidding. They were both Yeah, they had the stories. They were both on the buzzer, but he was just making it up.
Oh.
That's tricky.
Oops.
Yeah, that was
They were probably
funny.
at break, right?
You wouldn't.
They could have been off air.
Yeah, could have been. Probably
That
not.
would be a silent ride home for me. Oh, yeah.
Is that what that would be?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to know when it was. Could have been 50 years ago.
It could. That's true. Context, witnesses.
Right?
Witnesses.
I have a whole story. I've been, I won't tell.
Okay.
Who's listening?
I
Who's
guess
listening
Ed
before I
was
jump
on the buzzer.
I'm going to say that I could have done the buzzer. I have a story in that arena.
Be careful.
It'll be my last. It was my absolute last story in that arena.
I think we're on the same page on this one.
Look at him.
We can team up, huh?
Yeah.
You guys, come on. Because for the most part, it just is.
It is what it is, right?
It is. It's just what I can remember.
And we are back. You're listening to What's the Story, and we had a great first 45 minutes.
Is it over? 45 minutes,
It felt
really?
it felt
Like
so
a half an hour.
fast. Yeah, it really did. I was like, oh, I thought we were already done. We're moving on to the next hour.
Moving
Then I
on.
realized, no, we've still got Reno Gal Says.
Sure.
And, I'd love to hear what Reno
Okay.
Gal has to
Well,
say. And that's April Kempler for anybody
Thank you.
who is listening and is not familiar with April.
Okay.
Fire away, my
I
dear.
shall. Okay. So I was thinking about, writing advice this week rather than, talking about things I have no business talking about, lakes and waters and birds and things.
You had a great story. By the way.
I was thinking about when you are putting that book together and what's so funny?
I was watching Ed.
I know. Ed has he does have all the interesting faces going on right now.
I only have one face.
You're making several. So when you are ready to get to your cover and the building of your book, it's all said and done, you're going to want to get a book blurb, which is, what is a blurb? Well, it's an endorsement for your book. It's saying that someone has read this book and they think of a similar genre or similar topic, and they say, read this book too. I think it's really good. And so this was something that I had to think about when we were publishing The Altered Eye. What could we get people to say about it? So we did have some advanced copies out there.
Yep.
And number one for me was people knew me. They liked the book. And not to say that, and if they didn't like the book, give them an out. That's kind of in this. I found this nice little article on book blurbs and how to get them and what's the purpose of them.
Yeah, you're talking about asking people to comment on
Yes,
your book,
on your
whether
book,
that's
exactly.
not necessarily an official review necessarily,
Right.
but more of
An endorsement.
an
really.
endorsement
Yes,
of
Ed?
types.
So with your book, and I apologize, I haven't read it, but would people know more about you by reading it?
Yes.
See, I think that has great value. And I think that
think so.
authors are like these mystery things, and the more you know about them, the more the books mean.
Yeah. Well, it's not my memoir. It's my father-in-law's.
No, I get it, but you tell, right?
But you're right.
As the storyteller.
Yeah, people do want to know about the storyteller. They want to know what motivated you, what put you in that position that, number one, that you'd want to do it, and why he would allow you to tell that story.
Right.
So
getting back to the book blurb, so what they do, though, is there's 4 points that is brought out in this. I'll send you this link if you like.
I'd love
It signals that the book is important. It provides social proof that the author is important and helps readers see the book is relevant to them, and most importantly, convince a potential reader to buy the book. It's a credential. It gives it that clout.
And that's hard.
Yes.
To get
but it's
people
something
to
that
buy
you
the
need to
book.
think about. So where do they go? Number one, they go on the front of the cover, the back of the cover. They could go on the inside. They could be
Especially with
for the
Kindle reviews, you get to do previews on Kindle.
Right. And here's something I didn't think about. You could put them on your website.
True.
And in your press materials as
Right.
well. So for my book, as an example, we have a military man read the book, loved it, and he wanted to say what an important addition this was to the history.
Well, especially with a Holocaust book like yours, what else can you say? Was a lot of
Right.
the questions we
Thank
had
you.
from people.
I think I'm jumping ahead of
No, that's okay.
around,
But
so
it
thank you.
was.
It is. It's about World War II,
Yeah.
concentration camps. So this man was a United States military man, and he gave me a quote that we used. Another was an author I knew. She gave me an endorsement as well, but that, had none come, it would have been okay. They're not necessary.
Right. They're not a requirement. They're super helpful.
They're really, and they're nice.
Yes.
To have.
And if you can get authors that are famous to
Right.
do that, and there are
Right.
people, and I'm kind of digging in on your segment
No,
here,
you
but
have a
there
lot
are people
to say about it.
that, I guess I'm giving it away a little, but that they actually write the endorsement, what they want them to say, and
Exactly.
then the famous person says it.
Right. So if you know a famous person, or you have some kind
What
of
can you say?
this
It's the
could be
truth.
easier for you if
Right.
these are your peers.
Right.
It could be a lot easier. But if you don't know anybody, like me, I didn't have anything to go by.
Right.
But I feel really happy with the blurbs that I did get, and
Right.
and so it's one of the questions. One of the subheadings is, who should you ask for blurbs? So there's 2 points here. They are known to the audience you're trying to reach, somebody who has a job title or a book or something that is similar to the audience that you're trying to attract, or you already know them, which we've already talked about. So
And you
need-
want to make a list. You want to sit down
Right.
and make that list
How
when
should you
whenever
ask?
you think of it.
These are testimonials, just like in Marketing 101, right? Just
Right,
like
but
me
you have to
marketing
remember,
mortgage, I need.
authors are not Marketing 101.
No, I get it. They're not
Yeah.
Business 101, but
No.
like in Omega Mortgage Group, right? If I just take a client that has a great experience, like Jan, I take her quote and make an ad with it, right?
Right.
That's the exact same thing you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, so, and then it's like what to look for in a blurb, how to write blurbs for it that would be approved for the book. So it's not, there's really not a formula. It should be sincere. But you
Yes.
don't necessarily have to read the whole book. They can give you a synopsis. They can give you
Right.
the proposal. They can, they can,
Right.
they can get the gist of it. So there's
Well, and I
not,
think oftentimes what happens is they send the book, the gist of, and here's our recommended,
Right.
What you might say. And I don't think that every famous person that does that uses it necessarily. I
Right.
think that some of them have some ethics that, say, hey, if I'm going to put my name on this, I want to see what I'm saying. And
yeah.
for what?
Did you want to
Right?
add something to
Some
this?
folks have.
No, I was
values.
just saying that was sent to me, and it goes to exactly what you were saying
Oh,
about
okay.
your book. And I
Would you
thought-
like to share it?
Okay, I
All
will. This is from Warren Buffett, and it was. I hope it doesn't leave here.
It's leaving.
And this about reviews for your book or just life in general from Warren Buffett. You will continue to suffer if you have an emotional reaction to everything that is said to you. True power is sitting back and observing things with logic. True power is resilient. If words control you, that means everyone else controls you. Breathe and allow things to pass.
I like it. Breathe.
Yeah.
I have to tell myself to breathe every day.
Well, I was going to say,
Just get,
you guys were
through
talking
some of the
earlier
things.
about like write another book, right? In loans, right? I get a loan officer comes up to me and goes, "Hey, these folks don't make enough money. Can I do this?" And it's like, no, get another loan, right? Give me more,
Move, yeah.
right? I
Move
need
on.
multiple deals working
Keep
at the
busy
same
while you're
time,
waiting, exactly.
right? While you're working through a challenge,
Right.
be doing something else,
So-
right? So that we're always new and fresh.
Right. So, and this has some really good advice here, how to go about it. So you can look, the best advice is, he self says, best advice is for you to go find the 5 to 10 books on Amazon that you think are good comparisons to your book or in a similar
Excellent
niche.
advice.
Read the blurbs and imitate their style. Different niches have different blurb styles, and the best thing you can do with a blurb is not violate any norms the readers are expecting. And the most important thing about a blurb is that it focuses on the benefit for the reader. Why should the reader care about the book?
And I
So-
think that we as writers tend to forget that it is the reader. Go
I was
ahead.
going to say there was a thing though. It said against the norm. I think that's total BS.
Not necessarily.
I think, well, it depends on the book, right?
Yeah.
If it's April's book and he's between
Well,
the lines.
Ed likes to,
But I'm saying,
debate everything.
well, I was going to say, but
It's
if
fine.
you want to be seen,
Yeah.
you need to be outside the
Well,
lines.
no, you can be
I
creative. There's
will-
a difference between creative and norm.
Right, but I can address that as far as, yes, you do want to be different, but sometimes to get into the mix and to reach that reader, you have to do what they're expecting. Otherwise, they'll pass you over.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
the problem. You really, because I have authors that say, I'm different than everyone. My genre is different. And I'm like, hey, right? Not that you don't want them to be, but
Right.
that you have to find that common ground, because how do you bring that reader in? They don't trust you initially. I mean, they're investing their time in you, and they want to know you're going to write more. You know, readers they're tough.
Right. Well, so
They're
here's
tough
one
customers.
blurb that I think is great for the book Predictable Revenue. This is the book he's quoting. So one of the quotes about this is, I just finished reading your book. Unbelievable. I now know what's wrong with our sales process.
Wow.
So this
great.
is, creative, not in the norm, but not outside of the realm of someone, it would pull someone in. Oh,
Right.
he's going to tell me what's wrong with the way this is going, and I want to learn something new.
Right.
So,
That's great. That's good.
okay, well, that's all I have to say about that.
Whoa. Do you realize this is a benchmark, though? Did you see that buzzard up on the... It soared its wings, and it just hovered, and it was looking at you? Isn't that great?
Wow.
what bird are we talking about?
I didn't know you
no.
were that way. I think it's because we're on this upper level here. I think
Yeah,
that's what it's
it
all
is.
about.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll switch it around someday.
Yeah, because we
We'll
can
have to
look.
ask the
We can
engineer
look
if he can
down
do
on the
that.
top of your heads.
Well, like
in our
Underlay,
black.
yeah.
I've said this before. I feel a bit like the Brady Bunch here. We're all looking around.
I know. You expect to do that whole box
Yeah.
thing, right? It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that must be the signal. It's time for us to
Thanks
take
for
our
my
long
super long
break.
Reno
Yes.
Gal says. Thank you.
Yes, we're going to have the news. This is the conclusion of our first hour, but we'll be here for one more. We hope that you will as well. If you're on Facebook, we're still here. Don't go away. If not, oh my goodness, this is a lot. We'll be right back.
Oh.
This is What's the Story? We'll see you in a minute. Yeah, you can leave it on if you want.
Just fun. Just some of the white papers that
Wow.
right, like last week I had one.
But-
this one's
But
different.
he writes a book, right?
Well, this one is long, but it covers a lot of the things that I've talked about, right? It talks about personality.
It's only 32 pages.
Right, it's
33.
personalities. I'm going to talk about something out of it today, but I thought so this is what Jan's trying to do, though, right? New authors.
This is
get
the way
you
our-
guys to be interesting.
This is
Right,
the way
'cause-
our brain works, though, right there.
Right? Right? But that's, that my executive coach, how he supposedly came up with these ideas, right? His handwritten stuff's fun.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things I like about him, because he figured it out.
Did you write this?
No. I wrote the one last week. I was part writer with the discipline and consistency.
Okay.
But this one I just use.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
But I think
It's
you guys
almost
could
a
have
book,
fun with it.
It's great.
Our homework. Did you have a scone there?
April, you did a great thing today.
I did.
That pivot that you did in talking about stuff you know. Awesome stuff.
That was.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Doug.
Otherwise, you're vulnerable in areas you don't know, right? That's where, so am I. So are we all.
So Mario Rodriguez says he's listening.
Mario.
Rodriguez
Awesome.
says he's listening.
I
Glad
hope
you're
so.
listening, Mario.
Awesome.
Have any questions for us? Just
Yeah.
fire away.
Yeah, shoot us something you want to hear. Get some
Yeah.
value out of us.
That's right.
Hey, we work for you guys. Beat us with a wet noodle.
Yes, please. So news, and then we're going to go to Ed.
Oh, remember, news
So-
isn't on Facebook either.
No,
So
the
do we
news.
have some time then before
Yeah,
we
we have-
actually go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have time. Turn your mic off. so that Craig doesn't yell at you, and unpin yourself so your shirt doesn't get ripped off.
That must have been what happened. That was it. The clip ripped it off.
That's right.
No, we haven't tried to figure out who did it.
Oh, no, it was the clip. Oh,
It's doing it again.
that's pretty funny.
If I ever get out of this chair, I'll be right back.
Isn't it funny? I'm listening to the news right now, and they're talking about money laundering and terrorism, that this new currency that I guess Facebook is talking about doing. And it, to me, and I have no opinion on it, I don't even really know a lot about it, but as I was listening, I was thinking, anytime anything new comes out, there's always huge fear, right? You can just see the fear word come out. Everybody, oh, what if? You know,
Well, in advertising,
and not that it couldn't be those things.
in
but-
advertising, they've seized that because they label stuff new and improved because
Right.
it does shock people.
Right.
It brings them to it. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It
Yeah.
It
elicits
is
a
just
response.
baffling to me that consumers don't have just like puffer fatigue. I do. Anytime
do
somebody
too.
comes out barking about something, it's
well,
BS.
you know, the
Yeah.
president tweeted, and then the Democrats did a press conference to respond to the tweet. And I was like, seriously? We're wasting our time on a press conference
No,
about
Trump's
the
got
tweet?
them wasted their time on a
Do you
press
remember-
conference over
But
a
what they
tweet.
did, they were pretty smart, I think. They said, we're not going to buy into this. We're going to talk about something else. So they used it to be able to get their message out. No, it was smart. It was smart.
Do you remember
You can't discredit that.
about a year and a half ago, the First Lady and the President were visiting someplace, and the topic was the shoes the First Lady wore?
Yes,
You rem-
I do remember that.
But that
Ridiculous.
happens to every first lady, though, it seems
Yeah,
like.
Well,
it does, but they
that's-
pick on them differently. Each
Yep.
one gets picked on
Somebody gets
differently.
shoes,
Right.
somebody gets scarf or
I'm going to have to
hair.
disagree. I don't think there was ever anything said negatively about Michelle Obama ever in the press.
Well,
Well,
have
if
to
you
check.
ask her, nobody liked her.
It's true.
I mean,
Well,
that's,
yeah,
what
no,
she
no.
believes.
Yeah,
No,
you're
it's true.
that's probably true.
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw an interview with her, and she's. I mean, you think I got an edge? Man, that woman's edgy, and I'll tell you, if she wanted to wanted a loan officer job, I'd hire her in a heartbeat. Man.
You know, I take back that statement. I can remember some things that she was chastised for.
And I think that no matter which side you're on, you hear
Yeah.
you know,
It's
the
all
si-
sour grapes.
It is, yeah, and
You know, whether you have a
But
staff
why do they
of
call them
50,
the news media? You know, this could be the trivial media or the
Like I said,
whatever
when I
comes
saw-
to mind
So do you
media.
watch
when
the
I
news-
saw them all set up though for this thing after a tweet, I was like, wow, we've really I didn't watch the news all weekend. It was wonderful.
I was going to say,
Isn't that
do you
the
watch?
truth? Yeah.
Do you watch the news trailers, right? And they come out and go, "Oh, we're going to be going to India to watch the what? There was the World Championship in what's
Golf?
the English game with a paddle? It's
Oh.
like baseball.
Rugby?
No, I was going to say rugby, but it
No.
wasn't rugby.
No,
Make up a name. We don't know.
I don't know. Someone online, my brother was telling me.
It's true. You can look it up.
Oh, it's a big English game, you know, with the big ball and the paddle and the pads on your arms. It's, I want to say cribbage, but it's not cribbage.
No, that's
No,
that's
but
not
it's a
cribbage.
baseball game. It's
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, he's not listening, so he can't
Well, how
help you.
about all weekend them talking about the big storm, you know,
Oh,
on
yeah,
the
Well,
that's
right.
coast?
So
funny,
when they
too.
talk about that stuff, you know it's a no news cycle.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I mean,
Right.
that's where I was going.
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
when they're talking about
Yeah.
like
And I
good,
love it when
they're
people
talking
get
about good
mad.
things.
I
Yeah.
love it when people get mad when the storm doesn't come in the way that they said it was.
Yeah.
They get mad
Oh,
because they
yeah. Oh,
didn't get
damn!
as
It
much
didn't destroy
warning.
anything. What are we gonna do?
I love
Well,
that.
don't you think that was
Oh,
the job
we're
I
back.
always wanted? You never have to be right.
We're back already.
Those weather people.
Well, yet there is something. It's called being a husband.
Ow.
Shh, she's back.
We're going on April.
Oops.
Welcome back. You're listening to What's the Story? We're back for our second half. And amazingly, April's with us. Yay!
What?
I'm so excited.
Oh, she is still there. Look at
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Rare.
All right.
I thought I saw her leave.
We're so happy you're still with us. This is the segment that Mr. Ed loves.
Wow. Okay, so we're going to go.
Oh, you're just going.
Oh, he's jumping
I
in.
am.
He's diving in.
All right.
I was going to say, let's just go back in time.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going
About
to say, before
exactly.
you go back in
Oh, yeah.
time, be sure to check out Omega Mortgage at omglending.com or call Ed directly at 775-721-4100.
And that is in the present and future,
That's right.
right?
That's it.
But go back in the past, one whole week to last week when we talked about discipline and consistency. And I asked everyone to make a list of 5 items.
That was hard.
Of which, right, we wanted to move the needle in a positive direction. Right, so the top 3 in any order are always family, kids, right, religion, and business. And then we get into personal things. Well, let's start taking that discipline, consistency into our thinking, our doing, right? It might be affecting those top 3 things. But what about numbers 4, 5, and 6? Right? Let's multitask. Right?
We don't even know what 4, 5, and 6 are.
Well, your 4, 5, and 6 may be different than my 4,
Okay.
5, and 6
All right.
is kind of where I was going, and on down to 10. But can we move all those things the direction we want to? I think we can, right? Through disciplined actions.
What page is that?
This is page 6.
For anybody who's just listening,
This is
we were
page-
handed a 32-page document at the break.
Right, we're going to have a test on it next week, so bring it on, man.
So April's being the good student, trying to find
And
the
so,
page.
you know, on this coaching stuff, right, it's all kind of simple stuff, right? It's all, most of it not rocket science, but some of it is, right? When we start trying to combine the skills, when we try to have discipline and consistency, be succinct, knock out things, save time, right? But
multitask
multitask
efficiently.
by
Yes.
planning ahead, anticipating, right? then we move the needle our way, working the same hours we're working now, right? So my
That's
goal,
the hope.
my goal is for everyone to get what they want, working the same hours they're working now, by just focusing a little better, right, and moving on down the road.
So are you suggesting that by allowing or by having a relationship like a coaching relationship that assists in that? Is that the premise?
Well, I think it does for sure. I believe each of us can do more than we do, right? I believe there's way more in us than we touch. I mean, right, anybody who was a football player or a powder puff gal, right, coaches get more out of us than we know we have inside physically. I think the same is true mentally. I think there's way more inside of us than we get out. And sometimes we don't put ourselves in environments. We don't challenge ourselves. You and I were talking earlier about the safety net, right? And maybe not going all the way to the bottom, because if we lose risk-taking, it hurts our society.
Right.
I think at a deep core level, if you can't, if the country loses the ability to where somebody can come up with an idea, execute a plan, and becomes a millionaire, if that path ceases to happen, our country changes. I think it's what's built us in many ways. But I got a little off subject, but really it's about focusing on your plan. Right? Having a plan, getting there. I mean, so I went to Virginia Lake and I did get water and I was playing with that, and it's actually not that bad. You can almost see through it. Right? But was I committed in getting this tested?
I don't know. Were you?
Obviously, if I don't have a test, I wasn't committed.
But you did check on it. I know you did.
I did look at it, but I was obviously interested but not committed because I didn't do it, right? You can tell what people are committed about by what they do, right?
True.
They only do what they're committed to. Things they don't do, they're not committed to.
Good point.
And so I just think we're not committed to enough stuff.
That, to me, almost smacks of a circular argument there.
Bring it on. What do you
Well,
got?
no, you say if you don't do it, you're not committed. Well, if you reverse those, you say you're committed that you always do it. I think you can be committed to something or 3 or 4 things, and they are prioritized. Just because you're working on number 4 and then you skip to number 1 and you don't complete the task doesn't mean you weren't committed. That means you were just juggling quite a few balls at once. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get moving the needle a certain amount of degrees, but on a task that can be completed.
Yeah, but you couldn't complete that, not in the time allowed.
Well,
I know
I
you
could have
couldn't.
I could have taken it to UNR or DRI and dropped it off for testing.
You could have. Yeah.
Right, and that would have been committed
Are you
because the
still
result
going
would
to?
have been. Well, there's no purpose
But
to. There's no purpose to. Right, I played around with if it was going to be easy, I'd do it.
Oh, so
Right?
he's not committed. He just
So
said
that's
that.
right. That's
Yeah, he
exactly
just said
right.
that, yeah.
No, you were committed to it. You got the sample. And
To
you
a
just
degree.
but
I don't know how much
yeah, but see the
stuff's
thing.
in here.
The thing of it is, you were committed to do that, and then you thought, let's go past the testing part. If I get it tested and I find whatever, to what end? I mean, what difference does it make?
Well,
We already know not to swim in it. We already know not to drink it. We already know
So, I
not
mean,
to
where are we
step
go-
toe.
not to have our shirts ripped off and roll around on the grass.
I
Right?
do-
No,
I do know
Just
people
because you
fish-
can walk on
fish
it doesn't mean anything.
Right. Right. No, and I get your commitment.
Yeah.
Your discussion is real, right? Because there's percents of commitment.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, that's true.
So
That is
there
true, and I
is
think
a
that's the
statement
point.
that my executive coach makes that he said his grandfather came up with, and that no matter what someone says, there's some percent of truth in it. It's either 0 or 100. And
I
that's
would agree with
everything
that.
say, and I think that's
There's an
true.
element of truth to
Yep.
everything. I agree
Yep.
with that. Yep. And
what?
now there's an element of truth to the fact that we are out of time.
What?
Oh, wow.
Already?
You
My
blow
goodness.
through this stuff
How
so
does that
fast. I'm telling
happen?
you, we need to give you more time.
It's crazy.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Ed. And so you're listening to What's the Story? That's our story for the moment. We're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about Virginia Lake. We'll be right back.
Bada boom, bada bing.
You know, that could be an actress.
More to
Old
come.
Virginia Lake.
That's right.
Yeah, right?
Nice. Was that all right?
No, that was good.
Okay. I know it
I
gets a
didn't mean to
little
get you off track.
No, it's good. I like it because it's a little ambiguous, some of it, right? I mean, it's tough to go week to week.
Yeah, and I'm trying to listen and think about what is being heard. You know, what are people hearing, and what question would I ask if I were out there, you know, or what would I want to know?
You know, that's real interesting you should say that, because what you say isn't necessarily what they're hearing. You know what?
Right.
So,
well, and that's always the case in coaching.
Well, when
you know what I
you're
do?
the person that's doing the delivery, you know what you mean.
Yeah,
you know what you're
exactly.
trying to deliver. So you're focused, and
Sure.
you know everybody's understanding it,
and
right?
you know everybody's online with it. Yeah.
And you
So
know what?
It's up to us as listeners to be able to share that, or to kind of veer that and ask the right questions.
While I'm talking, I watch who's on air, and it influences me.
I'm sure it
into
does.
what I'm saying.
Right, I'm sure it
Right,
does.
I may twist it to them.
Well, that's being a politician, and you have the
It
word.
might be. It might be.
You have the word that covers it, and it's called a pivot. Where was I going with this? Because I'm going over here because that's where they want me to go.
That's where the cute gals are. Look, I'll count Craig in on that. He's not even listening.
No, he's
You'll
not
go with me,
listening.
Craig.
He's busy working.
But that was good
Poor
because
Craig.
I was. That's a tough space. But I tried to bring it from last week forward.
Right. No, that was good.
I tried to bring
You could continue it even.
That's
with
what
the
I'm
next,
trying to
Yeah,
do.
with the next week.
And you can cheat in the white paper. Likely a subject will be out of here.
Yes.
In April, this is really, if I was coaching you, this is something I'd get you because I think it would benefit you more than anything I've ever talked about. This white paper.
I'm going to read it. It looks interesting. Looks like I have a lot to work on.
It's pretty well, it's a little blasé.
I'm already reading it. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's a little blasé.
Don't do that. Don't do this. I guess I'm not as committed as I thought.
Do the positive in it. No, look for the positive.
Okay.
Hey, I see that Jason from Tycor Title in Carson City is listening. Thank
yeah,
you.
nice.
Thank you, Jason. And
Yes.
see Mr.
This is-
Garrett there?
He always says, and what is it on the Mouseketeers?
Oh,
Whatever that was, or
Yeah,
on the,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember what it was.
that's my nephew Garrett in Albany, New York.
Awesome.
We're reaching the north coast of America.
That's right. Well, good. We got, oh, there we go.
Wow.
I do like this music.
You like it?
I do.
Oh.
I know he was going to change it because we don't have the blues guys on, but I like the music. Hey, welcome back. You are listening to What's the Story, and I am Janice Hermsen, here with my co-host. You guys want to say hello? I mean, we don't have much chance for anybody
Hi,
to say
Janice.
too much.
Hi, people listening.
This is April Kempler,
I like that.
Doug Ashby. I remembered your name. Uh-oh. I'm in trouble now. I'm
Thank
not
you,
supposed
fine
to.
listeners in
And
Radio Land.
Ed Noel. So we're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gang's all here.
Hail, hail, the gang's all here.
That's right. That's right.
Doesn't
And-
happen often, but here we are.
Well, if you didn't listen
Well,
last...
It never happened. Never happens after 4.
That's right. That's right. And that's
I've been-
7 Eastern time.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hanging in there.
That's right.
Good.
Yeah, it's late there. So last week, actually April talked about Virginia Lake,
I sure did.
right?
Yes.
And that prompted Ed to talk about the geese at Virginia Lake.
Yep.
And how awful it was and horrible, and that Virginia Lake was just a mess and all those things, right?
Yep.
So
That's it?
No, well, I have a little story. I don't know if it fits in
Please
what's
share.
going on.
Well, it
So-
is. What's the story?
So
Yeah.
I went and I went by Virginia Lake Friday, I believe. And I went by and I got a little sample of water underneath, and I got out and I got my camera or my phone and took a pic, and I was just playing and sent a picture back to Jan and called it investigative reporter
Yeah.
Ed Noel, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the funniest thing, though. So I send her the pic. I'm getting ready to get in my truck, and it's just right there. I forget the name of the road, but all of a sudden I hear like fire sirens, ambulance, right? And it is, it's an ambulance coming through, rocketing through, and
Wait till you hear.
it almost locked up because the Canadian geese were crossing the road, and they had locked up.
Could have been a speed bump.
Had that been me, they would have been a speed bump, I'll tell you. But the ambulance driver stopped cold and let him pass and then went. But anyway, just more geese fun.
Oh, so April's got a picture of the geese.
Well,
and,
they're cute in pictures.
They're babies.
Oh man, look at all of them.
Because we brought this up, and there are people from across the country, obviously, listening.
Are they cute?
And you may not
Whoa,
know
I
about
like that.
Virginia Lake. There is some history to this. It was built in 1938 to 39 by the Works Progress Administration
Yes.
under the New Deal. How about that? I didn't know that.
So
this
I-
is something I learned.
I bet
I
all
did
these
bring
things-
that to the light about the Works Project
But
Administration.
Right.
if you go to cities across the country,
Yes.
I bet this park story is replicated 1,000 times.
What's your
I
point,
would-
Dad?
That there's shitty geese. There are nasty geese in parks all over the country.
Oh,
That
we are
it's
getting
not-
such a rise out of
That it's
this.
just not a Reno challenge, that it's challenge in parks everywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
But at the same time, in 2015, there was a project that happened in the city of Reno. Let me go to the Virginia Lake project. It was the Water Quality Improvement Project. And I thought it was funny because Ed was talking so much about the water. And here it is. So I went online and I did my own little investigative reporting here.
Nice.
And I found that they had this water quality improvement project. And they were stating at that time the lake is suffering poor water quality due to high nutrient enrichment and poor circulation, blah, blah, blah. All of that. Blue-green algae blooms result from very high phosphorus.
kinda smell
and
it
on and on and
sometimes,
on,
yeah.
right? So they did work on that. And they do have online, you can go look at it, Ed, they have how the water currently circulates through Virginia Lake so that you can see what that process is and all that. So they did try to address the problem.
Exactly.
That's really what I'm saying.
So
I think you need to go
so
get
to
this
me,
water.
though-
Wait. I think you do need to get this water tested.
Okay.
So that you can prove to yourself that it's not as bad as you think.
So, but this is
And it doesn't look bad, by
this
the
is
way.
totally the government
No.
doing what we talk about, though. This is them talking about the clarity of the water when it's like the surface of the grass, right? It's more than
But
just
that
this
really
issue.
wasn't, right, but that really wasn't the issue that was being addressed. So if you need to address the geese, you need to address the geese.
The geese
That's a
are
whole
a
nother,
whole different subject.
whole nother subject.
And people get a kick out of those
geese.
geese, and they feed them.
Yep.
So, and some are
And,
protected.
yeah,
They're federally
And
protected.
there's
Yeah.
They're
seagulls there
federally
too.
protected from what?
from
from
us.
people.
From Ed.
From
That's exactly right. You're exactly right. You can't throw a rock at them. You can go to jail for that.
Oh, why would you?
You know, I have a story about my poor mom when they were traveling somewhere, and I don't really know what state she was in, but my mom was only like 5 foot. And she always said she was 5 foot. We don't know that she really was, but maybe 5 foot, half an inch is what she would always say. Anyway, but she's little, and she had gotten out of the car, and this was, you know, early on, probably even before I was born, and these geese started chasing her. So if she heard us talking about this story, she'd be all on board with Team Ed. Come on, Ed, let's get rid of the geese.
They can't be aggressive.
So
They
that's
really
right.
can't
That's my
be.
point. That
Yeah.
is my point. So it's hard because, you know, yeah, you say they're protected, but what do you do if they come after you?
I know.
Right? And
You have to
can't
just
run.
Be defense.
There
Have
has
a
to be
defense.
some
Has to
place
be balance. Yeah,
somewhere
of course.
in the world, somebody's devised some way to keep them happy but off the grass.
Right.
We just need to find out
And-
where that
and I don't know
place is
where
and
the-
do it.
I don't know where the grass is.
I
at that
don't
particular
either.
place,
I don't
and
either.
everything I've seen has all been sidewalk,
Yeah.
because that's the side that I've been on. I've never really walked the full
Just gravel
distance of the lake.
and the sidewalk and bushes. I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
I
grass
didn't-
on this across the
Is there
street.
grass
There's
on
like
the
a
other
little
side?
There,
Where's
well,
the
there's
grass?
for sure grass across the park, right? I mean, so you right across the road's a kids' park.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Okay,
Does it
so that's
freeze
what
during
you're
the
talking
winter?
about.
No.
Too deep?
No. Yeah.
deep?
I don't know.
I can tell you how deep.
But
I have the facts.
Right, we have
right
all the
here.
facts. I may go snorkeling later.
How deep
well,
is it?
you'll see some.
It's not
Oh,
very
let's
deep.
See.
I don't think it's too
That-
deep.
I mean, it
There's
would.
deep enough. There's fish.
inflow.
that
It's
you'll
not
see.
full. I mean, they could put a lot more water in
I
it.
don't know. I know
Well,
so little.
Maximum
Why is it-
water
Jan knows.
depth 12 feet.
Wow.
Oh.
Maximum embankment height 7 feet at the northwest corner next to East Shore Drive. See what facts do for you?
Well, was this lake originally put there? Is this storm control, or is it?
No,
I mean,
this
why
was
is
okay.
it?
I told you all this story about
Last
the man,
week.
the gardener,
From 1850.
Jack Harvey Green. I think can't remember the naming now. Today, this is a different week. He was the gardener, and he had this land. It was outside the city limits at the time, and nothing really was out there. It was just sort of vacant, and they excavated, and is a man-made lake. He just thought it would be a pretty, and also the Works Project Administration. So it was something to do, to beautify. They even took, many of the trees were donated. So it was just something that added to the luster of Reno back in the day.
And from somebody who came in from another area, when I saw that lake, I really did like it.
I
was
liked
like,
it too. What is
because
this?
truthfully, it reminded me, you might remember, it reminded me of Reseda Park.
Okay.
Because Reseda Park, when I was down in Southern California, had all the ducks and
Yeah,
all that, and we used
yeah.
to go fishing there, and it was just, so
Honestly.
you, like you said, every city has
It
one.
has its problems.
And I'm sure people hated Reseda Park for certain
But
things
it's
too.
not gross. It's really pretty. It's nice. It's refreshing. Families
Right.
go there.
Right.
It's a place to walk around, to greet people, and have your First Amendment rights.
Free
So,
No, what,
You can have free smell, too.
you're hoping for your Second Amendment rights there, right?
No, I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. I just don't go to them. I don't meet people there. I don't go to them. If you're a city with beautiful parks, you want people to go. You want art galleries, craft fairs. You want all those things. Virginia Lake doesn't have many of those things because they can't, I think. But anyway, I'd love to go to parks, but I don't go to them because I can't stand the smell and I don't like the geek. So that's just
He
my
is
gig.
not a
So
and I
Proponent
don't,
for
I
our
don't like
city.
the children. I don't like
I'd
the
much rather
families.
go. I'd much rather go down to Davis Creek, right, and hike up and go because you're out.
Yeah.
But parks are supposed to be nice where you can go meet people and sit and talk, and
But
I just
from
don't
the
see
outside
ours.
looking in, I would feel like I could. That's how
And
I
you
would
can.
feel.
You absolutely
yeah.
can.
And I know you don't feel that way, but I would feel that way. I was actually going to go drive by there again and say, well, maybe it's changed since I was there
I
last.
think it has changed since I
Yeah,
was
go-
there last.
Go walk
Well,
out.
no, I mean,
There's
I
a
was-
different
I will.
experience.
I was
I
there
will,
last
yeah.
week, so that doesn't count. But I wasn't there many, many years because I kind of felt like, oh, why go down there? It's a mess. But I went. I was pleasantly surprised. I enjoyed it. It was nice. And
See
my
that?
father-in-law came with me. He's in a wheelchair. He's 91, and he's happy.
Oh, he went out there
Oh, yeah.
too?
He goes with
Oh,
me
yay.
Thursday afternoons.
Nice. Very nice. See?
You know,
He's
It
got
was
no
good for
choice.
And I can wheel him, and it's a mile around.
We're not going to win Ed over.
Oh, I know.
You know,
But I can
what
wheel
we
him
should-
around the park, and
Right.
it's
I
nice.
know.
let's
He likes it.
let's send Ed on some more investigative
No, let's
reporting.
meet.
No.
Jan has these things.
No.
Let's all of us meet
No,
there
well,
on
that's what I
Friday
said.
for lunch.
You
Let's
should
meet
go.
there at noon on Friday.
You should
We'll go
go.
to some place and bring our lunch and sit
I
down
say
there and eat
Thursday
it.
at
No,
1:30.
I want you to
That's
go.
fine.
I can't do it Thursday.
Do investigative reporting in LA City, and then go to the lake and see which you like best.
No, I'm going to suggest.
On that note, we're going to take a break.
You need one.
They're the same.
We'll be back
They're the same.
with the BTS Entertainment Corner. We'll be right back. Thanks for being with us. If you're on Facebook, we're still going to be here.
Parks are for people.
I tell you what, I stand outside Harvey's or whatever it is.
What? Huh?
Downtown. I go downtown too. And there's an element that's like for your life, and there's police and stuff.
For her free speech.
I can say that.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Are you leaving? Oh, she's working her way up to spending an hour.
You know what? She is working her discipline muscles.
Yes, yeah,
She's building it.
yeah.
I'll find out what your schedule is and make sure that you're good.
Okay, Ed, you're great.
Hey, be good.
Well, thank you for spending 30 minutes.
Extra
Yeah.
time, yeah. That was fun.
Permanent thing. Okay.
Whoops.
You don't have time to talk about me now because.
Bye, April. Have a good week.
Do I need to remind you, Craig, about BTS? I don't think so. I think he's okay. He's off the phone, so he's doing it.
Cool.
How come he's so quiet in there
Because
today?
he's working.
Oh.
I mean, he's got additional
He's multitasking.
things. Yeah, he's
Multitasking.
multitasking today.
He's ignoring us.
Sorry.
Sorry.
But that was fun. Because it's an issue, I think.
What? Virginia Lake? You think?
No, just parks in general.
Oh, I think you're probably right. And I meant that about Reseda Park. I'm sure that people that are there could say similar things because they had the ducks. And there were times when we would go, because we were kids, and,
Right.
we'd go there, and like I say, we'd fish, and it was, funky fishing, right?
Sure, sure.
But for
But
us...
if you're kids and it's in your neighborhood,
Well, yeah,
why not?
and for us, we would never, my parents worked full time, and there was no way we were going to get to, go to a lake someplace out.
Right.
So this was a great solution.
When you're
right?
a kid, you don't care where you go.
I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't. It was
it's all
fun.
great. It's all
Yeah.
new, and it's all fun.
Yeah. So.
Do you
I don't know.
remember in Southern California, Tin Can Beach?
I don't.
It was literally
Where?
Tin Can. It was part of Huntington Beach, just
Yeah,
north going
that's
into.
too far away from me
Yeah,
to.
and it was literally that. It was absolutely strewn with nothing but tin cans.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it was terrible, but they cleaned it up, and it's a viable beach now. Have you ever seen the machines they use to?
Yep. Well, I lived in Southern Cal
Yeah.
for like
Okay. Well,
12,
okay.
15
Do you
years.
remember Tin Can Beach?
So that Seal Beach, Huntington Beach,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Seal Beach was north,
Yeah.
Huntington Beach is south, so
Yes.
that tin can's in between there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I think they used to be able. We used to have fires. Go out there and have bonfires on the beach.
I think you still can at Huntington Beach.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 25
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah. Just yesterday, huh?
Well, it seems like it as
Yeah.
fast as the time on the show goes.
I know.
This is like Albert Einstein. We should be getting younger.
It's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up with your host, Jason Hadley. Many are expressing fears that some of R. Kelly's alleged sex slaves may be planning a suicide pact in the wake of the singer's mounting legal troubles. Statistically, women will choose less violent methods, such as overdosing on pills. But where can they get that many pills to knock them out like that? Who has that lying around?
Get ready for the Zim Zam and the Babbity Bibbity.
Producers of the 25th James Bond have announced an African-American woman will be taking over the role of the iconic secret agent. She'll be 007, but 009 in heels. Paul McCartney invited his old bandmate and former drummer for the Beatles, Ringo Starr, on stage for a duet to close out a 38-song performance at Dodger Stadium. Too bad no one was there to see it. LA fans are notorious for arriving in the third and leaving after the eighth. And that's the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up. Follow us on Twitter at Rockin' Wrap-Up.
Welcome back. You are listening to the Hollywood Rockin' Wrap-Up, and now it's time for Brian T. Shirley. BTS Entertainment Corner. Are you
Zim Zam and a Flimmy Flam, Gerald Pudding Pop. Anyway,
whatever.
that cracked me up.
I can hear
hey
that.
folks, I don't know if you can see me or not.
Nope, we can
I'm
now.
not seeing it.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, good.
Yeah, what you got behind you there? Some popcorn?
Well, first,
and-
yeah, this is Meg Scott. She did the popcorn, which represents going to the theater, and of course the comedy and tragedy masks. She did both of these, by the way. She's a great artist. I do, and I've got a copy of Cake, a Love Story. I got this sent last year, but I just want to using this to remind you folks to submit your films, web series, music videos. We're taking those now. This is a short that won an award in our film festival last year, and Betty Jo Tucker, who this is about her and her husband. She wrote the book, and then they did this short film about her and her husband, and she's now one of our celebrity judges for the NSAEN Online Film Festival. So just go to nsaen.com, and you'll see where to go and check out the festival. It was a huge, huge week last week. And I got two big things to share with y'all today. Starting on July 11th, I did a interview for a podcast called Hustle and Motivate, and me and Jan discussed this. And I got to tell you about this. It's on jokermag.com is the website. Joker Mag is dedicated to inspiring underdog stories in sports, entertainment, and you name it. And the mission of this whole thing, the podcast, the website, Hustle Motivates the podcast, is to show that folks, athletes, entertainers, all have the struggles like normal humans. we are full of
just like
our
the rest
struggles.
of us, right?
Yes, exactly. And it just wants to showcase that at some point in our lives, we all face roadblocks, barriers that challenge us, times of struggle where the odds are against you. And, like obviously I had last year, but some of the folks on here are just amazing. I mean, there's a lady that had four. You thought one quadruple's enough. This lady had four of them.
Wow.
And then there's the story. Dennis Quaid was in the movie. He does an interview with the guy that The Rookie is based on. And so just go check it out. It's an incredible website. He's got 30 of these podcasts under his belt right now. It's on Apple Podcasts and iTunes, Stitcher. So it's all over the place. And I got to tell you, this mine's got 250 likes on it, and I'm going, wow, this is pretty big. This thing is reaching a lot of people. So just go check it out, jokermag.com. It's called Hustle and Motivate. And if you want, you can go, what's the story? Because I believe I've shared it there. Did you see it, Janice?
I believe I did.
I think I
Yeah.
liked
And
it.
this,
Did you? Okay.
it's Tyler O'Shea is the guy behind this. And he's a former Division III baseball standout himself. And he's a Philly fan, so we've got problem issues there because I'm Atlanta. Anyway.
Well, we have to go with who you're going with, right?
Yeah, that's the Braves. But anyway, go check it out. And I'm just honored to have been interviewed by him. And we talk a lot about acting. We talk about the struggle of coming out of a heart attack and those things. And it was great. I really he really does his homework, and he's very engaging. A great interview guy. He is. He's no Janice Hermsen and Ed, but he still does a good job.
Hey, we
The
resemble
huge
that.
thing. The real big news, and I don't know if y'all have had a chance to watch this, but Ranky Tanky, number one, they dropped their album last week. And Ed, I don't mean like they had it in their hand and it slipped and hit the floor. I meant that it came out. It debuted, it premiered on the 12th, on Friday. And I'll tell you who Ranky Tanky is. Now, this is a Gullah term, get funky, is kind of, it's Gullah, for you folks that don't know, is West African influence. The slaves that, if you start at Wilmington and go all the way down to Jacksonville, Florida, Wilmington, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida, there's outlying islands all up and down the coast from Wilmington to Jacksonville. And that's where a lot of these former slaves lived, but they kept their heritage, and that's the Gullah heritage. And Renki Tanky celebrates that through their music. And it's Quentin Baxter who's on the drums. Kevin Hamilton plays bass. Kiana Parler is the vocalist. Clay Ross plays guitars and does some vocals. He's the lead on Good Time. He's the lead vocal. And then Charlton Singleton is the trumpet and does vocals. And if you haven't had a chance to watch the video, check it out. It's called Good Time, and I was honored to be in it. I mean, they really did a good job with this video. It's already got over 4,000 hits, and it just came out Friday. And, the weekend, people are usually out doing stuff, so I was amazed that it got that much. And it's on, you can get it all over the place. I mean, wherever you get music, you can get it. But I'm looking at Amazon. It's already number 166 on the jazz album on Amazon.
Do they sell their whole album, or are they selling just single songs, or how does that work now?
No, the album dropped. They're doing the whole album. So, you get the whole album now. It's not before they put out a teaser with 5 songs on it. Now, whole album's out there. You can get it on Amazon Music. I don't know all the places you can get it because I was looking at their site trying to find it, but just about anywhere you can get music, this thing is probably there because this is their second album. I thought they'd been around a lot longer. They just came out in 2016. The band formed, and their first album went number 1 on the jazz charts, Hot 100, and they were up the ranks on Amazon. So, and I think iTunes too. So, I mean, this is some talented people. My dad, I showed him the video. He watched it on his TV on YouTube, and he was really impressed. And I showed him the picture of me and Kiana and the lady that is in it that plays the lead role. And I said, well, see, that's Kiana right there. And he goes, Kiana Parler? I went, yeah. So he was like, oh, I know her. She's a legend here in Charleston. She's been around for a while. And she was a prodigy when she was younger.
That's
and
cool.
has just blossomed, Go ahead if you had a question, Mark.
I was going to say, you should be more gentle with her and not tell her she's been around a long time.
When you've been around a while, you'll understand.
And I'm wondering about the John Deere stuff. I saw that long list of accolades and I was going to comment on Facebook, but I didn't write in there that, you were soon to be spokesman for John Deere.
He's going to get you that gig, Brian.
Well, I wish. I mean, I think, anything you can do towards that, Ed, I'd appreciate it.
I keep trying every day, right? We'll see how committed I am to it.
That's right.
No, I tell you, I'll take anything I can get at this point. I was talking to somebody about that earlier. And, Drew put together a great poster for trying to drum up some business for us. And I just can't wait till people come at me and go, hey, you shouldn't be putting that out on your poster. Because I can just look at them and go, I didn't do that. That was the management company.
Oh, nice.
Excellent.
I love it that I can blame other people for stuff. Because he did. He put together the poster, and he's going to be sending it out to a lot of VFWs and stuff. We're going to drum up some business for country clubs and stuff like that. He's calling it the All-American Comedy Show. Where we do short films and stand-up. Go ahead.
It's the American way. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So, it's going to be, we can do a clean show, or if it's adults only, then we can, ramp it up a little bit. But, we're not filthy. So we try to, and we don't inject.
Bummer.
Unless I'm on
he
this
says
show,
bummer, I say I'm glad. Yeah, what can I tell you? Diversity. 18 seconds. So you got to close us out.
Well, check it out, BrianTShirley.com. I did update the homepage. Videos on there, new videos on there, the new demo reels on there. The link to the interview I just talked about is on there. So if you want to check any of it out, all you got to do is hit BrianTShirley.com, and there you go.
All right. We'll be right back. You are listening to What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermsen.
Nice job, Brian.
Great job, Brian. It was well done.
It went by too quick.
Hey, you're doing a lot of stuff from the time I've been on here. You're really doing more projects, more stuff. It's awesome.
Well, thanks, Ed.
I know
what
you
it
were
is?
coming off poor health, but I mean,
Right.
you're happening, man. You're really doing stuff. You're to be applauded.
Oh no, thank you, man. This is just a great platform. Janice has helped me an amazing amount, and you'll see, Ed, being on the show with her, you'll see the benefits of it too. Because not only just
You're so kind.
being able to be on, but those what's the story things, people love those things. When I hand them out, they thank you. They love it. I think it's putting something in someone's hand, and Janice, they do a damn good job. I mean, have you seen the color ones, Ed?
I got one.
Yeah, I give them color. We're considering trying to find some advertisers that want to do this in color so we can up the game a bit. But we want to make sure that the businesses
Oh, here it goes. It's going up now.
Yeah, we want to make sure that the businesses that, maybe just need to get out there a bit can still do it, and that's why we do the black and white.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword there.
It's really
it's a
killer.
tool. I use it as a tool.
Yep.
And people love it. So I gave some out the other day. I mean, I haven't been doing as many shows, so I haven't.
Right.
But I went by and gave Drew some more. Drew.
Oh, good. Drew Howard.
The
Yeah.
one he was excited about that.
Cool.
It's
All
just
right.
you know what? It's critical mass is what it is. Is that I've done this stuff for years and years, and right now it's starting to kind of come together a little bit.
Yeah, it takes
seems
a
like-
while. And we got to get your book going too. So I need to talk to you about that. I've got you on my radar. So I've been kind of compiling your stuff. So.
Okay. Is Ed going to be in that book? Because I needed to talk to you about it.
These guys haven't talked me into a book yet.
No, we're going to do a quote for you from my book.
Well, I don't know. That may be what I do. If I do a book, it'll just be like quotes. Right. It'll be like one of those 3-page books.
Oh, and I got to tell you, Janice, real quick,
Yes.
Betty Jo Tucker has put together a book. If you can reach out to her, she might already have a publisher, but she's put together a book of her quotes, her movie quotes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All
you know
right.
how she does the rhymes?
Yep.
And it's a movie review?
Yep.
She's putting together a book of those.
Oh,
Because she's
cool.
going to put our movie to go in, the documentary. She's putting that
Oh, okay, good. All right, well, I'll reach out and see if she's already got somebody to take care of that for her.
in. Yeah, I'm sure she'd listen to you either way.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
Hey, be good to yourself.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Thanks
Yep,
again.
thanks.
You too. Yeah, Brian's rocking and rolling.
Yes. Yeah, that's Doug too.
Yeah. Both of us.
Welcome back. What a great way to come back. You've got a great laugh there, Doug.
Thank you.
This is What's the Story, and I'm Janice Hermsen, and that was Doug Ashby just chuckling away. And, of course, Ed Noel still hanging out here.
You know, time goes so fast, feels like we just got here.
It does.
It always does every
I
day.
know,
It's like a minute.
I know. It's great. It's wonderful that it can. I have done shows that it's kind of dragged through, and I felt like I wasn't maybe pulling my own weight and
I'm
sharing
sure that's
enough
never been the
and-
case.
Well, some shows do
Uh-oh.
that. So.
There goes our engineer.
Our
Uh-oh.
engineer
You know
just
what I
left
was
us.
thinking? While Brian was talking about stuff, Doug, I
I
really...
hope that wasn't on camera.
No, he knows where the cutoff is. Look, you can see the cutoff. Because people walking by, there he is right there. I can see his throat. Doug and I really should do a music video. I think we could do something good. We need to, long-term think on that.
Okay, you guys think on that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that video.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we could do, fire truck ladders and stuff.
Sure.
See, I mean, we got,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, the upside to people's houses burning down.
Yep.
Wow, I didn't know that's
You
where
know
you were
what
going.
we could do? We could do a whole parody on the stupid stuff people do and start fires. right? So you
How about, don't limit it to that.
It could be like a 24-hour movie.
Well, I'll tell you what, I sat in communications for close to 5 years and listened to thousands of 911 calls. And you sit back in your chair and you think, nah, I cease to be surprised. And yet somebody will pop up with something.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Because your guys, it's like you planned it this way, right?
Yeah.
Because I was going to talk about the 6 rules for great storytelling.
What?
And
we always walk right into them.
Well, I don't know if I'll get through all 6 of them because we always talk about everything else. But one of the first things they talk about is great stories are universal.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about truly is universal, right?
Sure.
I mean, and I think that from the standpoint of people writing stories, and I will say with the book getting ready to come out, I'm so focused on this, I'm sorry, but it's like everything is, oh, did I do this? Did I do that? What about, did I cover this? And you worry about the reader. Am I addressing the issues that reader is going to want, right? And for me, because it's not my book, it's a book I'm writing with someone else, I have to make sure that this person's audience is served and that they're going to get from this what their expectations are, right? Or if they don't get those expectations, that I exceed those expectations.
Well, those are really challenging things because personally...
Right, so being universal is tough.
Right. I was going to say personally, if I like it, the majority folks won't. Right. I'm in the minority,
Me
so
too.
I know that when I like things that most people don't.
Right.
Oh.
Right. Well, that means you got to have different people around you that see things like regular people.
Yeah, you have to have good reviewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we rely on that. We rely on that a lot because I tend to be in the same camp with you where what I like is not really what's universal out there. I have a more segmented, I guess I would say, viewpoint.
Look at you. That is so PC. Come on. Let the hair down.
All of today that we've talked about kind of worries me about my book. Because
why?
well, really, it
well,
does.
Here, let me give you the second one.
Okay.
Great stories have a clear structure and purpose. Your book has a clear structure and purpose.
I do, but what I mean by that and where I'm going with it is that it's a true story. It pulls you along. It pulls people in. It makes people laugh or makes people cry because they can relate to the stories. With that as a backdrop, I look at the programs that are on TV now about emergency services.
Yes, the 911 first responders, right? Yeah, I watched that.
And I wonder what people are looking for there. Are they looking for the same thing that's in my book? Because some of the programs, I know there's fire stations.
Yeah, but I think that telling a story in a book is different than telling a story on film or in a short piece like that. Because you have different highs and lows. You've got to grab them a lot quicker, right? I mean, you got to kind of hit the mark and get there.
It's a bunch of car chases and people getting like shock treatment because like us, right? There's like 15 minutes and a half an hour to tell the story. I mean, it's car chases and no.
Yeah, well, exactly. They have to cut to the chase. Literally.
Some of the things that they show on some of these television programs, I wonder if I'm on the same planet that they were. I think, oh my gosh, and they're playing to the audience because they're getting, they're getting people to advertise.
They're getting sponsors.
So it makes you wonder. But it's getting that word out. You're right. But there's also something else that you said, and I thought, well, I did that, was showing the personal side of you. And some of the things that I shared in that, I think, oh man, I look back at that and I go, maybe I should have kept that private.
So what's your biggest challenge right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
In life or with my book?
Anywhere.
Wherever you want to go with that. There's that personal thing again, right? He's going to have to think about it. You've made him speechless. Where's Debbie?
Yeah. So wait a minute. Can I do it like this? Say what?
Okay. So if I were to guess what your biggest challenge would be, I would guess that, you want 1 million sales, right? Book sales.
Yeah.
Well, I think I can help you a little bit with it.
Good.
We should talk.
How many of them do you want to buy?
Well, no, here's what I thought I could do.
If he's going to help you, I think I'd better ask him to help me.
Yeah, so one thing we could do, whether I put a link to it on Facebook or on LinkedIn and recommend you, right? I mean, I have, I don't know, 8,000 LinkedIn folks. A couple of them know who I am, right? I mean, so let's just take you to a broader audience. Right now, to me, first responders.
He better hook up with me first,
right?
and get that book being
absolutely.
published.
We'll get it going, but first responders couldn't be bigger, right? I mean, it's front and center. Now's the time. Let's do it.
I am so gun shy over all of this. That's why I've been dragging my feet, and
rightfully, rightfully.
I get it.
I get it. I understand exactly why you are.
I guess they say, once burned, twice shy. Well, that's exactly where I am. And I have sent probably 300 or 400 letters to different New York agencies and gotten back 300 or 400 really nice responses. They say,
oh, is that like a girl saying, "Oh, you know what? I really like you. You're really nice."
Yeah,
right.
So,
it's a couple 100,000 times in a lifetime.
Gee, for a fat person, you don't sweat much.
Well, that's all right. Totally get that.
For anybody who doesn't know, Doug Ashby happened to have his book published by Tate Publishing, who are now under, I don't know if they've been, have they been?
Yes, they have. They were convicted of 27, I think, felonies.
Right.
And so
ICE got him and kicked him out of the country.
How can
they were
somebody,
publishers, but they took everybody's money. They
exactly.
just took everything.
They were scoundrels.
They were crooks.
Didn't provide.
Crooks.
Yeah, they
There you
didn't
go.
provide the product in the proper fashion, and all those things.
With
so
that,
Doug's a little gun shy.
With that as a backdrop, how do you have 27 felonies or 23 or whatever the heck it was, and not go to jail?
I know, and they
that.
didn't.
Yeah. Oh, well, we thought they would do better, maybe repay people if they were out of jail. All right.
Yeah,
Stop
so
it.
somebody got paid.
I think
somebody
so.
Got paid
yeah,
off.
well, the old
that's
adage,
right.
follow the money.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
there's a
right.
lot there that will.
Yeah.
And since that, and that's been 2 or 3 months ago, well, I haven't heard a thing. So.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you number 4, and I know yours does this. Great stories appeal to our deepest emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to post this so that anybody who's interested in knowing more about the 6 rules of great stories can take a look at this. As you can see, I'm doing my homework after the fact as well as before the fact to make sure that I've covered everything. You do all of this ahead of time, but then when you get to the end, you do it again. And you say, oh, come on, am I sure I did this right? So showing some of my insecurities here, but I think it's fair to say that anybody who has put out any kind of book, whether it's your own or writing for someone else, that you've got all of this going on and all the emotion and everything tied with it. So
I'd say it's a real big boy experience. I don't know if I'm that humble enough to let somebody pick through my, what I mean?
Well, I'm ready for the backlash. I'm ready for whatever comes, and you do your best, and that's all you can do.
Yep. Step up to the line
That's
and you
right.
take your chances.
That's right.
Huh?
So I want to let everybody know we're going to be back again next week. We're going to have Kate Holohan, author Chris Formant, Doc Provatera, and his daughter Janet, and their children's books in the coming weeks.
It's going to be crowded in here.
I knew you were thinking it was next week. It's not next week. At the end of July, we have Paul Crooks, who will be joining us. He will have completed 25 years as a volunteer law enforcement chaplain, and he does not think that anyone in the state has ever done that. That's here in Nevada. So we hope that everybody will join us here with my co-host, Ed Noel, my other co-host, April Kempler, that's not here right now. And then, are you going to be with us too, Doug Ashby?
I would love to be. Thank you.
I thought I saw that shirt being ripped off. I thought you were April.
Be sure to join us every week because we know everyone has a story and we want to share yours. Go for it.
Bada boom, bada bing.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Ed.
Have a good day, everyone.
They're gone. I was thinking, chance
I know, but I wasn't prepared.